Well, hi, folks. I'm Jim Peacock with Peak Careers Consulting, and this is we're circling back to a couple folks who have done the choosing three words to guide us in our year, and I always like to do last few years, anyways. I've been doing like a 6 month follow up just to sort of see how's it going, and so today again we got Robin McPherson and Thelma Sullivan. They're here to share their updates. This is their full bios. If you want to look at the original interview from January 2023, you can do that. We kind of went over a few of these things, but Robin is down in Tampa. We were just chatting how Tampa and Maine are basically, and Thelma's in Boston, outside of Boston. We're all kind of in the same hot, humid weather, it feels like these days. But I'm excited to catch up with both of you folks and hear what you guys have to say about your progress here. So I say we dive right in and see what's going on. And Robin, why don't you start? What do you kind of give us a short review of what your words are and if there's any deeper meaning, and maybe just sort of say how have they impacted your daily life so
Okay,
far?
great. So again, thanks for the opportunity, especially to check in. Like I say, we did this about 6 months ago. So, and as I mentioned then, this was really new for me, these three words. I long ditched the resolutions for the new year. And I'm like, oh, okay, what an idea to try three words. So they were intentional, awareness, and mindset. Now, what I can say, I know you mentioned about how you have them everywhere. I didn't quite get there. I keep my three words on my desk at work. And actually, what I've noticed between intentional and mindset, I've been strong with that, guiding me and allowing me to continue to grow and evolve professionally and personally, especially more so intentionally. So I think next year I'm going to adjust it maybe to one word versus three words because I'm more focused on really about two of them. But really, I've been moving forward with a lot of intentionality, and it has guided me. Like I'm staying focused, and when I'm losing my focus, sometimes I go, so what are your intentions? What do you want to do? Looking to grow and evolve. So that's my kind of like my reminder. And the other one, the mindset is there. More of the awareness word that I had chose at that time to pick three because it was three words that guide you. It hasn't been more on my forefront, but definitely being intentional, moving intentionally, becoming more intentional in my thoughts and actions. It's been great to have like kind of word at my forefront. So that's why I think more or less I'm going to move to more of that one word to continue to guide me and use that as kind of like my guide and what I want even moving further.
But it almost seems like mindset is also closely related to intentionality, right? They're a little related, about how you're trying to be so intentional. It really kind of is a mindset change. So maybe both those words are actually working for you at some level. But
Yes, yes, and they are. Like I said, I've set some some little goals, and I'm reaching some of those goals. And if I didn't reach it, I kind of like go back, to looking at what's not working, why I haven't reached it, where am I not, staying intentional in that area. So absolutely, it really it's like a guide. It's my roadmap to help me get to where I want to be. But I do see growth, and that's what I'm looking about. As long as I'm growing in some area and being intentional with it, I'm good.
that's awesome. So intentional, that's intentionality and intentional. I love that word. It's very forward thinking too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Where you really kind of go, I want to spend my day being intentional, saying this is the direction I'm going. And uh, I love that word. I love that word. Tell me what's your story? What are your three words, and kind of how have they impacted you so far this year?
Yeah, so my words were creativity, connection, and health. So after our initial conversation, I used my creativity to create a little reminder
Oh, nice.
that I frame, and I have this on my desk. And so far, what I noticed just through observing, just looking at the words every day, that the creativity and connection reminder, so the words act as a reminder to me to take action. And I use creativity and connection weekly. So as I look at my coming week, I think about, am I really being creative? How I'm using my connections, how I'm connecting with myself, with others. And the health is something that I use as a check-in daily. So when I look at that word, I think about, have I moved? Have I exercised? Any amount, quantity, quality, or sometimes both. I think about, am I eating mindfully? Am I taking a break from the computer, from the phone? Have I been in nature? So I noticed that how two of the words, it's a check-in weekly, and the other word is definitely daily. And they have served as inspiration and a reminder for me to take action.
So, what? Talk to me about how the connection. What did you do when you think about connection and you feel like you maybe haven't done enough to it? What do you do?
So different things. One is connection to myself that works in connection with health. So, which is allowing some time to be quiet and just reflect and observe. It also means connection with my clients. That could be just checking in. If I haven't heard from them, we are in between sessions. How are they doing? It's also a reminder for me to check with past clients, to just send. So often I do send a newsletter, but a lot of times I just send an email to see how they're doing and where they are. It also means connections with colleagues. So I'm connecting with other career coaches. And for example, I used the connection and creativity quite recently. I connected with another career coach who is an editor for the National Career Development Convergent magazine. And she offered me she knew that I enjoyed writing, and she offered me to write an article. And I had this idea in my mind, and it materialized. I said, yes, this is connection, this is creativity. I am going to sit down and put my idea in paper and write the article. It was published June 1st. Yeah.
What was the article?
So it's called Helping Clients Navigate the First Day of Employment and Beyond.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was published in the Convergent magazine in the section called Workplaces. So what I have noticed that some of my clients were just taking their first assignment as managers, and they were facing a lot of challenges. And the onboarding that was provided by employers was not enough to support them. They really were overwhelmed. They expressed challenges with communications, with building relationships. And so I said there is really an opportunity to continue to support people once they are employed. And so I put together this program that I called REACH. And I wrote the article, and yeah, and I expanded using that creative side. I kind of expanded my business in that direction too.
Wow. So there seems to be like some real intentionality with those two words, putting those words out to the universe in some ways, saying, I want to be connection, I want to do creativity. And all of a sudden here you are writing an article for Career Convergence.
I noticed through reflection last year that those two words are extremely important in my well-being, and they provide me so much joy. connecting with people, learning about people, and also creating, whether it's when I do career coaching or outside, I do creative writing. I love any artistic venue, are sources of joy. And I wanted to bring that into my entire life, not just my professional.
Wow. And the other thing I thought was interesting is the word connect was to connect with yourself.
I think that was a product of after the pandemic, that I felt really disconnected with myself because of the stress, the unknown, and also disconnected with other people, right? The lack of face-to-face interaction. And it was definitely something that I wanted to bring back. You know, we're fortunate to have technology like we're doing now, but to me, the in-person connection, it's very important. I need to see people.
Yeah, I was fortunate to go to the NCDA conference in Chicago, and it was just amazing to be able to be with a bunch of other career people and face to face. And there's a different level of sharing that happens when you know, when you do that. There's, you know, it's really, it was awesome. It really was.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about my words, but I just want to just kind of emphasize the one of the things that I love about this is when you put these words in front of you, they kind of stay important. You know, you're saying, like, Robin, I'm going to be intentional. I want to be intentional, and tell them I want to do connection. You're saying it's important. You keep it out in front of you, and I really do think there's something to that mantra, you know, where you put it out there and it's likely to keep happening, you know. So any thoughts on that before I jump into my words?
Well, just like you say, when you put it out there, it's kind of like it can grow, it can expand, it moves in a direction that you want to go in. Sometimes not even realize it. And then when you look back and reflect, then you can see that growth and the expansion as well, though, the benefits of it.
Yeah.
I would like to add that, you know, even though we chose these words at the beginning of the year, you know, there is nothing wrong to realize in the process that perhaps, just like it happened to Robin, that two of them just resonated more. And, you know, to say, okay, this is my new focus, and maybe just switch. And then in the middle of the process to realize that the alignment is happening with other words. And so, but I think that just having them in front of us allows us to do that reflection piece and to realize if we need to change direction. But I think that if we didn't have them, it would be, so we would be like distracted or not focused, and we wouldn't be able to do that reflection to change direction.
And I think things change throughout the year, right? It's kind of why I like the 6-month checkup. But I mean, who knows? Robin may find in September that mindset all of a sudden becomes more important, right? In September, maybe something's going on and it changes, right? I mean, that's why it's kind of nice, you know, to have a few words. And my experience has been that I'm usually 2 out of 3 words really do resonate, you know, they sort of land right. And sometimes you just get a word that doesn't quite do it. But so these are mine: humility, joy, and exploration. And joy, I try. Joy is more than happiness. So I just think that I think joy is something I'm always trying to work on trying to be more than happy. Sort of, it's a longer term happiness, right? Joy is deeper, it's broader. And I just feel like I like having that word out in front of me, because I'll literally, when I journal, I try to journal daily. It's been a little hit or miss because I've been traveling and whatnot and going on vacation. And but when I journal, a lot of times I'll write that down in the morning, and I always feel like, where can I find joy today? Right? I mean, it's just, where can I find it? So it's not about necessarily watching a comedy show, right? It's not about being funny all the time. It's about really trying to be happier and to have that joy. And it is something I just keep in front of me, and I feel like it's almost like a heartbeat, right? I'm thinking about it every day, trying to say, how can I find more joy in my day? Is there anything I can do to do that? Or is there any way for me to look at this in a different way? Exploration has probably been my winner this year. I think I spent a month in New Zealand, actually, in February. Took off of work, and another couple, my wife and another couple, we went to New Zealand. I'd been there 39 years ago for a longer period, for 6-month period, traveling and backpacking, and this was a month long, and that was great. But I love that word also, because I'm also kind of exploring, how do I want peak careers to grow? What is it? How do I want it to grow, and how do I want to fit in it? Because I'm actually, I want to work a little less hard. Is that grammar? I don't know if I passed 101 in that, but I don't want to work as many hours, but I still want to keep peak careers going. So I'm looking at I'm kind of exploring that whole thing. What can I do? And so I've got another person teaching a new seminar for me, and I've got 2 people teaching new seminars for me, and so they can teach them, and we can work together to sort of make that happen. So exploration's been interesting, and what I love about that word is, again, it's kind of future oriented. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And I'm actually going to be putting together a little, I don't know what to call it, workshop of sorts, just with a small group of people to kind of go, what are we going to do? What do you want to do? What's your next 7 years look like? Humility is the last word. And I got to read this came from Brene Brown's book, Atlas of the Heart. And I'm going to reread it, because I just love her definition. Humility is openness to new learning, combined with a balanced and accurate assessment of our contributions, including our strengths, imperfections, and opportunities for growth. And I'm like, yeah, it's not about ego or bragging. It's about just saying, I can do this. I have imperfections, but I can learn from this, and I'm willing to share. That's the kind of how I feel about humility. And it was a weird word for me to choose. I think in some ways I kind of was like, how does that fit? But when I read her definition, I was like, yeah, you know what? I want to continue to kind of give primarily in the profession. I want to give. I also want people to know I don't have all the answers, but this is my perspective. This is what I like to do. But I think that one it's still about learning. That's the other thing I really love about her definition. It's still recognizing that you don't have all the answers, and that there's more to learn. So that's been an odd one for me to write. It's not been for me as powerful as joy and exploration. Humility has been more just a little thought provoking, not as action oriented, I would say. But
I think it's a great definition also to share with our clients, because that's just the what a career path is, and the opportunity to grow and learn and recognize, our strengths, recognize our challenges. That just speaks about any employee, right? And how do you take that to the next step and to the next step? And
Well, so many people that I work with, we're helping them get ready for an interview. I don't want to brag. And I'm like, well, you're not bragging, you're just stating the fact. And I thought, you're right. That definition isn't about bragging, right? That definition is recognizing you have some strengths, recognizing that you have imperfections, and recognizing you still have things to learn, but it's just kind of stating the facts, right? This is who I am. This is what I'm good at. And I think you're right. A lot of our clients need to sort of hear that message.
yeah.
I agree, because when you said it, I go, you know what? I think I'm going to focus on something with that word, with clients. I work with like a lot of early career professionals. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that's a new word for me to incorporate, to talk with them about the humility. So as soon as you just read that definition, you can say little things start ticking. I'm like, yeah, that's a way for me to do that.
Yeah. And that's, I just thought it was, but I love that book. I mean, that was Atlas of the Heart was a great book about really looking at the depth and breadth of emotions. And I thought it was great. So one of my things is I do keep, I have this in various places around the house, but you really stop seeing them. It's in my bathroom, on the bathroom mirror, and I'll look at it once in a while. But I think for me, the true powerful thing that in this activity is writing down. I write them. And again, I try to journal it daily. I don't always journal every single day, but I've got a journal out sitting behind me all the time, every morning. And some days, like even today, I just wrote the 3 words. I didn't really journal. I just wrote the 3 words and said, they're in front of me. And I just think there's something really kinesthetic about putting a pen or a pencil to paper. And because every JOY, there's something that I just think that's going on deeper in my head when I write it down, because I really begin to think, where's that going to fit in today? Where's it going to fit today? And then what I'm going to do? Oh, I'm teaching a class. How does that fit into my class? Or I'm going to be going into town and I got to go do blank, blank, and blank. How do any of these words fit? And I just think there's something real powerful about that. What do you guys think you might do differently, or even react to that comment?
I personally agree that writing, because I do it in a creative way and also professionally writing my blog, and that there is that a different, there is more reflection when you have to write it down, right? So, we think we're always in our head, or some of us are more than others. But when we write, we kind of just stop to think about. And I when you were talking about this kind of future, using the words as future focus, I was thinking more using the word as present focus. So one of the things that I do is I ask myself, when do I feel connected with someone? And how is that happening? And what is it that it's making me feel connected? When do I feel that I am my best at creating something? What is happening? What is the setting? What am I producing? And if that is when I feel my best, I need to do more of that. So that's how I am like trying to use the words differently to do a reflection, to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead, Robin.
I like the idea of like the writing it down. It just, as Thelma was saying, even for more how it bring it, like or reflection, but it also gives you that vision of it, because then you're starting to imagine it a little bit more and start reflecting on it a little bit more too. So having that vision and writing it down, it's almost like you're taking just another moment with that word and kind of like meditating on it, and then still seeing, how it's allowing you to move, how it can impact your day. So it's gonna be like it's at that moment when you're writing it down, and then you're writing it down, even if you start at the beginning of the day and you write it down. And like you, Jim, if you have it at different places, it can always give you that reminder of wherever you are if you see it in the different places. Because in the bathroom, you're in and out, and you see it, and it just brings it back to your memory and vision and focus as well.
Yeah. I just, there's so many different workshops that I do. I always try to build in some kind of kinesthetic activity, and they're always huge successes. People love that, and they love card sorts. I have card sorts are huge. I mean, you're seeing more and more people using card sorts and different kinds of card sorts, and I just think there's something as I don't know, technology's come into our world and people are online, people are using technology, and I think it's almost a pushback. This kinesthetic stuff is almost a pushback to the technology, because typing it up is not the same. It just is not the same. When you have to write it down, you have to write it down, or you move it, or there's a value decision that's going on with cards. There's value decisions of this is important or this is less important, or you move them. And even when you write them, there's something that goes on where you're thinking about it, I think.
I agree. I mean, movement is becoming more and more important every day. And it's just that connection with the intuition that comes of using the body, right? And getting out of your head and just almost like moving with rhythm, with just that inner knowledge.
Yeah, agree.
So are you guys going to do this again next year?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm going to twist your arm, Robin, and make sure I think you should still shoot for 2 or 3 words. I think there's something different. It's almost like, for me, it's like the goals and statements that we make. Sometimes they're too narrow. I think I would encourage you to at least maybe pick 2, because I think they change. They can change throughout the year, and sometimes it's nice, and it's a little challenging to kind of figure out what's the word this year and how is that going to play out. And you don't really know how it's going to play out sometimes at all.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, thank you very much. I want to just close here. I'm Jim Peacock with Peak Careers Consulting. I started Peak Careers with the Facilitating Career Development course in 2001 and added online discussion-based seminars in 2010. And they're different. They're not, and they're all asynchronous. So there's no set time to blog in, and I don't run them unless I have at least 4 people and no more than 10. So they're really more of a seminar. They're not a class. They're more a seminar. We're learning from each other. I learn every time I teach these seminars, and you can check those out on my website. Face-to-face workshops are finally coming back, and I've been doing those. I'm also the author of a field guide for career practitioners. The Adventure of Finding Me is actually basically my journals from 1983, 84, and my experience in New Zealand. But if you are a career practitioner or a career counselor, anyone who delivers career services, you may want to sign up for my top 10 tips, working with an undecided person, and get the weekly career emails from Peak Careers. And if you'd like to connect with me, LinkedIn is my go-to. I do have a Peak Careers Facebook page, but LinkedIn is definitely my go-to place. So Robin and Thelma, so nice to reconnect, to sort of hear your stories on what's going on. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yep, it was a pleasure again just to reconnect. So enjoy the rest of your year, guys.
All right.
Thank you.